Good evening, everyone. So, my today's topic for the assignment is two Indias, the income and wealth inequality in India. So, as you know, the country's 40% of wealth is owned by top 1% of the country. And why does it matter? First, the democracy is at risk. Second, the growth paradox. Third is the intergenerational trap. And fourth is the social fracture, which fuels the inequality. And the inequality fuels the crime, unrest, and the social erosion. And yes, so what's the scale of inequality? As you can see in the numbers, the 40% of wealth is owned by the top 1% of the country. 3% of the wealth is held by the bottom 50%. The India's Gini coefficient is 0.57, and almost the consumption gap between the real Chinese and 60. Extraction in India's as estimated by some 45. Second, government sector. Created as a hereditary landlords for all the lands between a family, which was very unequally used. Third is the incomplete land reserve. So as you can let the right to land has been discontinued. And the sealing laws had a loopholes. For example, a member of the family, the head of the family will divide the lands between his sons or daughters and bypass this law. Third was the liberalization of dual edge. So what are the driving inequality today? Regressive taxation, skill premium and tech, caste and class nexus, which is very, very prominent. The SCST households are 30% less than their caste counterparts. Fourth is the informalization of labor. 90% of India's workforce is still informed. Fifth is the underinvestment in public goods. And sixth is obviously the urban-rural divide. So as you can see, the numbers of the human cost. So India ranks 107 out of 125 global index, which is very, very bad. And 50% of India's children are under 5, are still stunted or underweight. And 55% of the health expenditure is out of pocket. So illness is still pushing across the country every year. What are some of the measures which we can take to improve? First is the progressive wealth tax. Second is the agrarian restructuring. Third is the education investment. Fourth is the universal basic income. Fifth is the universal healthcare. Sixth is the inheritance and capital gains tax. So what are some of the barriers for the implementation? Elite capture of policy, informal economy, capital flight race, caste and social resistance. So what's the reform roadmap? Like, for example, immediately what we can do is create a national wealth registry. The national wealth registry. In short term, what we can do is a 2% wealth tax. In midterm, we can do is pilot a universal basic income in 5 states and see the performance. Last is the long term global tax coordination treaties measures. The choice ahead, yes, inequality is still a policy choice, and so is literacy. Thank you, everyone.